Welcome to another Bryanston School video tutorial for Onshape, where we're looking at modelling the skateboard project that's done in the C year. In the last video we put together another sub-assembly of the truck with the wheels. In this video we're going to do the final assembly, so we're going to put all of the components onto the skateboard deck. So to do that, I've opened up the skateboard file that I was working on. You can see across the bottom I've got the part studio from the deck, the part studio of the fasteners, and the part studio of the wheel parts. Then we've got the wheel assembly and my current file, the truck assembly, which has also got the wheels added on. So that's the imported truck assembly that we then renamed, and the wheels added onto that. So let's create another assembly. So left click on the little plus, left click on create assembly, and then we'll right click on that and rename it, and we'll call it skateboard assembly. So type that in, hit enter, and so we need to go to insert up on the top left. So left click on insert, and the first thing that we're going to insert is parts from the part studio and from the deck part studio. Now if I open this up by left clicking on the arrow, you can see the different parts we've got there, but actually we can bring those parts in. So if you can remember right back to one of the first tutorials, when we did the gasket, we modeled the gasket using some of the geometry of the deck. So if we bring in the whole part studio, and again I could move that around, but I want that to be lined up with the origin, so I'm just going to left click. And if I carefully just spin that around, you can see at this end we've got the gasket already fitted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a group of those two parts. So I'm just going to select everything together, and I'm going to group those, which means they won't move around separately. So I'm going to left click on the group icon. So they're now grouped together, and I'm going to tick to confirm that. And then on the deck, I'm going to right click on the deck, and I'm going to left click on fix that appears. So now I cannot separate those parts, I cannot move those parts around in the assembly. I can obviously manipulate the assembly so I can look from different views, but those parts are now fixed. So I'm going to add all of the other parts to these, or the assemblies to these. So the first thing I need to do is put another gasket in here. Now one of the reasons why I fixed that on there is because we've got a slightly curved surface on both parts. Although this is a flat surface here, we've got a slightly curved surface, and it's a bit difficult to do that. So I'm kind of cheating a little bit and allowing me to put the other gasket on nice and easily. So I'm going to go to insert, and I'm going to open up the deck this time, and this time I'm going to bring in the truck gasket, and I'll just place that there in space and left click to say that I'm happy. Now at the moment this is in the same orientation as this one, but the curvature here is a mirror of that one, so I need to spin this part around 180 degrees initially. So left click on the part, and then if I just move around so that you can see it's this arrow, that this end of this arrow that I want to be able to spin it 180 degrees. So click on it, spin it around 180 degrees. Once I've got it close, I can type in 180 to confirm that, left click to move it away. The next thing I want to do is to make that, and the easiest way to do that is on the flat surface here and the flat surface here, using one of the holes as a location. So we're going to pick the two holes that would be lined up with each other. So I'm going to use a fasten mate. I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to pick the top of this hole. So I've used that hole edge. So left click for the fasten mate, scroll wheel to zoom out again, and then pick that one as well. Okay, and it looked like it just jumped as I did it, so I'm going to cancel that one, and let's repeat the process. So fasten mate, zoom in, pick the top edge of that circle, zoom out, zoom in again, and this time I'll be a bit more careful, pick the top edge of that circle, and if we zoom in you can see that it's put the two parts next to each other. That's almost right, but not quite. What I want to do is to create an offset. So I'm going to tick the offset box over here, and we can see that there's an X, a Y and a Z offset, and I can see the 3 arrows here. So I've got Z sort of pointing downwards, I've got the red arrow for X pointing across the board, and then I've got the green Y arrow pointing up the board. So it's the Y direction that I want to offset, and that offset is 374 millimeters. So I'm going to type in 374 and hit enter, and it should preview. Now you can see that it's sent it in the wrong direction, so I can change that by putting a minus in front and hit enter, and now you can see that it's sent it up to the other part of the deck. And I can just do a quick check, so I'm just spinning that around and I'm just looking through the screw holes of the deck to see that they're lined up with the screw holes of the gasket. They are, so I'm now happy with that. I'm going to left click to confirm that, and we can see that that gasket now is at this end as well. Okay, so I'm not going to do another fasten mate because there's nothing else to fix, so I need to bring something else in. So close that and left click on insert, and this time I want to be in the current document, but I want an assembly to add in, and it's a truck assembly that I want. So left click on truck assembly, and I'm going to place one over there, and I want a second one, so I'm going to place one over there and left click to say that I'm happy with those. Okay, so straight away we can see that the assemblies aren't in the right orientation, so it's easier if I do that first of all and get those right. It just makes the mating process a little bit easier. So I'm going to left click on this one, and I'm going to use this manipulator to spin that 180 degrees that way. I've got 180 degrees, so left click out the way, and then I'm going to select it again, and this time I'm going to use this manipulator to rotate it 90 degrees. Note that this kind of flat edge of the axle or the truck is what we want facing towards the end of the skateboard. 90 degrees, happy with that. So let's do the same on this one. Select it, spin it around 180 degrees so it's around the right way. Left click to clear it, left click to select it again, and this time I want to spin this one around 90 degrees this way. Haven't quite got 90 degrees, so type in 90, hit enter, left click to move it away. So now to fasten this on is very, very straightforward. Again, we want a fixed fasten mate. If we zoom in with the scroll wheel, I can just pick any hole. So I'll pick that one, left click on the edge of it, and I just want that to line up with this one. So left click, and notice that it just moves the truck's assembly at the moment. Left click to confirm, and then the wheels move with it. Let's do the same on here. This time I'll pick the one on the gasket first, rotate it round, zoom in and zoom out, pick the corresponding hole, just move it around just to double check. Happy with that, and the wheels go back on. We don't want another one. So there we are, we've got that assembled. The only thing that's missing now are our screws and our nuts and our washers to actually allow us to effectively keep the trucks in place. So let's go insert, and we'll go to fasteners, and actually we could bring in everything separately if we wanted to, or we could bring in the fasteners sets. So let's do that, and in fact let's just do one set. So I'm going to place one there, place one there, place one there, and place one there, so they're roughly in the right place. And I'll just show you with these four, you can do both sets. So first of all, to place the screws, so these aren't sub-assemblies, these aren't constrained with where they are in relation to each other. So I'm going to right click and go zoom to fit, and then I'm going to use the fasten mate to fix the screws in. So if I go to the decks, you can see that it sort of jumps around a bit when we're trying to pick a fasten point. If I hover over the center circle, I can do that, and you can see that there's a couple of points that are highlighted. If I hold down shift, it just means that it will jump between the different points. So I'm going to left click on that top one, which is effectively the bottom of the countersink. And then on the screw, again, I'm going to left click on the edge that's the bottom of the countersink. And if I just spin that around and zoom out, we can see that that's fastened that in the right place, so I can tick it. So I'm going to repeat that with the other ones. So zoom in, pick the fasten point that's at the bottom of the countersink, pick the fasten point that's at the bottom of the countersink in the hole, left click, do the next one, spin it around with the right mouse button, pick the next one, we'll trust it's in the right place, do the last screw, and do the same on that one. And tick to confirm. So we've got our 4 screws in place. Let's do that with our washers now. So our washers are quite close, so let's make sure that we're picking the top edge inner circle of the first washer, picking the make point, and then do it on that edge there. We've got the washer, tick to solve it, repeat that with the next washer. So just zoom in to make sure we've got the right edge, zoom out, zoom in, pick the right edge, click to confirm, do it the other way around this time, pick the edge, so that's the edge of the hole, zoom in again, top edge of the washer. Again, trust we got it in the right place. Do the same with that one. Click on there. So that's our 4 washers placed. And then we're just going to repeat that with the nuts. So we'll start with that one. Upper inner edge. Bit of manipulation using the mouse. This time, top edge of the washer. Do the opposite, top edge of the washer. Top edge of a nut. Top edge of a nut. Make sure it selects over there. Spin it around. Zoom in. Top edge of the washer. Top edge of the washer. Top edge of the nut as we're looking at it. And there we go, we've got our 4 screws in with our 4 nuts and our 4 washers, and we simply just need to bring another set of 4 in to complete it at the other end. That's the end of that video tutorial. Hope to see you in the next one, where we'll start looking at how we can create an exploded assembly and also how we can create some drawings. Thanks for watching, see you next time.